Hey again, folks. My name is Ash, and today I have a topic for you that you don't want to miss, alright? And today I'll be revealing some truths about media. So, some things you may have never considered would be how media can relate to you and your path of self-discovery. So today I'll be exploring how you can decode your reality, your personal reality, in a way that enhances your path of discovering who you are, discovering yourself, alright? And this includes film and print and music, but today we're just going to be starting with music. And we won't have time to cover everything today, but yeah, we're just going to get into music, alright? So, let's get into it. Today we're going to talk about music, specifically music with lyrics. And that's where the hidden message lies, within those lyrics. Have you ever related to the lyrics of a song so much so that you just listen to it over and over again, and you really listen to it till you're sick of it completely, but that day you hear it again, you just find something new within those lyrics, something that you missed the first go around when you were just obsessed with that song. And so, sure, maybe instrumentals are good too, but it's in these songs where the lyrics just keep you drawn to it. And so, this brings me to the greatest rock band of all time, as far as I'm concerned, and that would be Led Zeppelin. So, Led Zeppelin was best known for their catchier hits, but unforgettably their most famous song is Stairway to Heaven. And Zeppelin's members, they were familiar with esoteric ideas. They were occultists. And they would often draw references to Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings in order to get their message through in their songs. And Led Zeppelin guitarist Jimmy Page, he even bought the Bolkestein house, and that was owned by Aleister Crowley, none other than the Beast 666 himself. Mr. Crowley, who will come up again later in this video, we will discuss something about him later, alright? So, Zeppelin, they helped me through the hardest times in my life, for sure. And then, in those times, I would go on what I call a Zeppathon, where I just listen to them non-stop for hours. I could be at work, and I'm just listening to Zeppelin, and they really help me get through the day, and I'm just, thinking about me and my path and my self-discovery while I'm doing some other monotonous task. It's Zeppelin that really gets me through those hard days. And so I can go months without listening to them, but then I'm just drawn right back. I go on another Zeppathon, and I'm just totally engulfed by their songs, their instrumentals, their lyrics. But today we're going to be getting into a song by them that is lesser known, and this song in particular helped me on my path of self-discovery, and I'm going to use it as an example here in order to show you how any song really can help you on your path of self-discovery. And so it's a lesser known song, and the song I'll be discussing today is called Tangerine. And this song was a track off of the album Led Zeppelin 3. So I'm going to break down the lyrics for it as quickly as I can, and I'm going to be just going verse by verse in order to give you some hints and help in how you can use any song really to discover more about yourself in your path of self-discovery. And this song, this is my tangerine. It's the apple of my eye, and there's no other song like it for me. But there are other songs that have also helped me on my path of self-discovery, and I won't name them today. Maybe I can do follow-up videos like this one on those songs, but yeah, we're going to get into Tangerine. So, verse 1 of Tangerine goes as follows. Measuring a summer's day, I only find it slips away to gray. The hours, they bring me pain. So, this verse, it really calls out to me and my affliction with time itself, the idea of time, and the passing of it. That, I would argue, is something many of us share. It's in the second verse, though, where I find the meaning that has really helped me. And this second verse is also the chorus, though it only comes up twice in the song, and there's only 2 other verses. So there's not a lot of lyrics to this song. It's mostly instrumental. So, second verse, alright? Tangerine, tangerine, living reflections from a dream. I was her love, she was my queen, and now 1,000 years in between. So, unfortunately, and I hate to say it, but this verse reminds me of somebody I used to know. No, not you, Gotti. Tangerine, tangerine. For me, this line is as literal as it is metaphorically symbolic of real events in my life. And it has layered meaning. So, tangerine, it's a fruit, obviously, right? It's a type of orange, or it's a citrus fruit, alright? So, except until last year, I had not ever tried a tangerine. I mean, there's a lot of fruits like it, but I don't remember ever trying a tangerine before last year. So I'm going to get into a little bit of a story here about the time I tried tangerines for the first time. And so last year, I had just bought a juicer, a fruit juicer, a cold press juicer, and I was using it a lot, but one of the first fruits that I came across that I wanted to try juicing was the tangerine. And I was just in shock when I found one. I was like, oh, it's a real fruit, alright. There's not just tangelos or sumo mandarins. It was a real tangerine. It was just called a tangerine in the grocery store. And so I bought enough of them so that I could juice them and also just peel one and try one as it is. And I really had found my forbidden fruit there. So I buy a few, and it's pretty much what I expected. It was like an orange, but it had its own sort of mix to it. If you've ever tried one, they're pretty good. I mean, I think I got a good batch of them. And so I try one and I juice the rest. And something happened that I didn't expect to happen. So if you know how orange juice, an orange is called an orange because the peel is the color orange. And when you peel that fruit, the inside is also orange, the pulp. And so, the juice itself was also orange. Unlike the orange, where the juice is a yellowish color. So, this discovery kind of led me to a quote I founded. But we're going to go to the Bible here, which is a quote from Jesus in Matthew that led me to coming up with my own idea here about how the orange juice is yellow, whereas the tangerine juice is orange. So we're going to go to Jesus in Matthew 7:15 through 20. So, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Even so, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Therefore, by their fruits you will know them. Alright, so that's a pretty heavy quote there, and it's layered in symbolism, and this part of the Bible, which led me to my own ideas here, is something that is pretty unforgettable. It's something that Jesus said that a lot of people have heard before. So this idea put forth by Jesus, along with my own self-discovery with the tangerine, led me to this quote. Know a fruit by its juice. An orange produces yellow juice. It is deceitful in that way by the very nature of its name. It is called orange juice, yet it is yellow. So, if you don't follow, let me explain here. What I mean by this, my point here is that things should be known by their essence, their juice, so to speak, not through their associations, like the orange, where its outer color is orange, yet its juice, its essence is yellow. So just because an orange is orange, it's called an orange, doesn't mean that it is truly orange. Its juice, its essence is yellow. And I mean, everyone, metaphorically speaking, is a fruit, and we all bear juice, our essence. It's an unquantifiable thing that is beyond labels and associations. So I say that the nature of an orange is of deceit, not because it's a bad fruit. I mean, a lot of people, most people, they like orange. Orange is a good guy. And it doesn't mean orange is a bad guy just because he's deceitful. It just means the nature of orange is beyond what we can perceive of its outer layers and its flesh. And so this analogy here goes to say that we're like orange. We are not just human. We have an essence that is like the juice of orange. It's not orange, it's yellow, but metaphorically speaking, our true nature, our true essence is beyond our flesh and how people perceive us. And so here on planet Earth, as human beings, we're just orange. And that's how people are likely going to see us. But that's the human experience. So, do you see it now? Those are just the first two lines of the chorus. Tangerine, tangerine. But I promise that's as deep as we'll be diving today. I'm going to get into the rest of the song here, though. So, let's continue. Living reflections from a dream. I was her love, she was my queen, and now 1,000 years in between. So that's the rest of the chorus, and to me this calls back to the first verse. It's really calling back to the affliction here with time, and maybe the she of this song isn't a person at all. She could just be the very measure, a summer's day, and it all slips away to gray, and the hours bring me pain because it's always leaving. She's always leaving. 1,000 years is a long time, longer than any human being will ever experience here on planet Earth. And really, it's all just gray. It's something that is imperceivable. There's really no definition to it. Gray is a whole range of colors, all of which are gray, yet some are darker, and some are lighter, and some are bluer, and some are more brownish red. But it's all just gray. So, let's move on to verse 3 here. Thinking how it used to be. Does she still remember times like these? To think of us again. And I do. So, who is she? Alright, perhaps I wasn't completely honest with you. in that last bit there is a girl, but she is also that summer's day. So let's continue pretending she's just a summer's day. She's just time. This could be literally Jimmy Page, who wrote these lyrics, actually, and he's the guitarist. He wrote the song, though, and the lyrics. And he's kind of asking here if time itself remembers. And we're talking about time in the sense that it's a she. So it's this female personification of time itself. And obviously, according to the lyrics, Jimmy Page here, he thinks of those times again, of their time together. So his time with time itself. But does she, time, actually remember Jimmy Page and his time with her? So after this verse, Page himself, he breaks into a pretty sick guitar solo before the chorus repeats again. So here comes the chorus again. I'll say it again. Tangerine, tangerine, living reflection from a dream. I was her love, she was my queen, but now 1,000 years in between. And that's it. That's the song. Now there's other instrumentals that go to it, but for copyright reasons I won't be playing it here today just because I want to keep my video up. And my connection to the song, I guess it's deeply personal, but I'll explain my reasons the best I can for how this song helped me on my path of self-discovery. So this song, when I was a little bit younger, a few years ago, it helped me really get over an intense relationship that I had had for a few years. And I didn't listen to it for a few years after that, and last year it really came full circle. I heard it a few times again, and then that story with the tangerine itself, that happened. And it was kind of a bittersweet ending to something that I couldn't fully comprehend back when this song was helping me get over that relationship there. And from that, I learned that time, it truly forgets. And as human beings within this human experience, we are temporal. And so we too are prone to forgetting, just like the juice. The experiences we share with others are not great representations of who we are as people. It was never about the tangerine, even if that was the destination. It was about what I learned along the way about myself. So maybe you're thinking, Ash, you're reading too deeply, it's just a song. And if that's what you're thinking, you've totally missed my point here. But I'll continue, because this is the point, to read too deeply. If you want to truly know yourself, you have to learn to read between the lines. Meaning itself is subliminal, and like I have, you have to learn how to find meaning in the meaninglessness. So who knows why Page wrote Tangerine for his band Led Zeppelin to play in their album Led Zeppelin 3? Well, I know why I like it, but what does he have to say? So, actually, Page doesn't ever disclose the reasons for why he wrote Tangerine. But most fans imply that Page wrote this because of his relationship with Jackie DeShannon. And clearly, Page felt very deeply about losing her if Tangerine is what was produced through that. And as for Jackie DeShannon's perspective on the relationship, she just sees Page as someone who inspired her to play guitar. And so this contrast in their perspectives of the relationship, Page produced Tangerine, but she just sees Page as someone who taught her how to play guitar. And this dichotomy here only further draws parallels for me between Page's intended message and my personal life experience. So, and it all comes back to my experience with the tangerine fruit itself. So, really, what am I getting at here? It's that one party gets something totally different out of a relationship than the other party gets out of it. And with Page owning a house for over 2 decades, which was once owned by Crowley himself, most believe he was initiated in the occult. So what I like to believe is that Page, Plant, Bonham, and Jones, they channel their music from a place beyond the brain itself, and they go to the very source of creation and finding the inspiration for their music. And I'd say that's the reason for their ultimate success, as well as the success of other artists. So I did mention that Crowley would come back again into the discussion later. So when I was younger, I loved anything sung by Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness himself. And when I was younger, I was working at a grocery store, and I had a manager named Mr. Crowley, and my friends and I, we liked Ozzy, and we would joke about how the song Mr. Crowley was about this manager we had worked with. And at the time, I had no idea who Aleister Crowley was, but we believed this song to be about this manager when really it was about Aleister Crowley. And so bringing the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy, he, in this song, reveals his infatuation with the work of Mr. Crowley. And I'm going to go into sublines of the song, particularly the beginning and the ending. But the beginning, the first verse, goes as follows. Mr. Crowley, what went on in your head? Oh, Mr. Crowley, did you talk to the dead? So here, it's as if Ozzy really wishes he could just have a chat with Aleister Crowley. And Crowley died before Ozzy was around, really. And so Ozzy here is kind of in a place where he knows he can never truly ask Crowley why he did what he did. And we're going to go right to the ending of the song here. I won't go through the full song, but it's pretty much all like this, with some pretty sick instrumentals in there. So the song ends, was it polemically sent? I want to know what you meant. I want to know. I want to know what you meant. Yeah. So he repeats that same question 3 times there, followed by a solo which concludes the song there. And yeah, with this, so far, we have 2 examples of artists who reference the occult. But is that all it is? And specifically, Crowley. Page bought Crowley's house, and Ozzy literally made a song about him. So, is that where the deeper meaning in music comes from? Is it all occult? And I would say no. The deeper meaning comes from you. So, sure, we can joke all day long about how these celebrities use music to control us, the masses here. But really, they're just normal people who have gained a following due to their talents. And does that mean they're part of the Illuminati? Well, no. Though it's fun to joke about, the Illuminati is more about and bloodlines than it is fame or notoriety. So that doesn't mean that other artists don't engage with the occult in inspiration for their music. Take Lady Gaga's new song, Abracadabra, for example. Abrahadabra was a famous line used by Crowley, and her lyrics, Lady Gaga's, in this song are full of occult symbolism. We have the lady in red. She talks about the devil and angels. And finally, we have old Gaga back. So, what is the point of today's here video? Well, tangerine, tangerine. There are many songs that have helped me along my personal journey of self-discovery, all for different reasons at different times. But for me, there will never be another tangerine, and that's just it. Go find your tangerine. While watching this, did any particular song call out to you? If one did, or more than one, it would be worth your time to go and listen to it again, read the lyrics, and I'd like to touch on one last point though, which is a topic I'll dive deeper into in a later video. So this last idea here I'm going to get into is the idea of words intended by an artist as opposed to the words that you actually hear upon your first few listen-throughs of that piece. And it can often be hard at times to tell what an artist is actually saying in their song. But either way, if you connect more to what you heard than what the lyrics actually say as they are written, then all the more power to you. Find meaning in that. So, have you ever heard of the Bach Saga? So, it's ironic because the first time I'd ever heard of it through a podcast, I thought it was called the Box Saga, as in something more occult, the cube of Saturn. But it's not. It's called the Bach Saga because of a man by the name of Bach, who is no longer with us. But he comes from a family line, in which they raised their own through oral tradition. So Bach, he never went to school. He was taught by his mother and his aunt verbally through oral tradition until he was nearly 2 decades old. And so the story of Bach is he really spent his first nearly 20 years learning this story about creation and the world and his family line in accordance to how his aunt and mother were taught the very same thing. And Bach, was the last in this family line. He never fathered any children, but his story lived on through friends that he met later in life along the way in traveling the world. And so, how I see the name Bach, it draws back to this idea of the chicken and the egg. So which came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, actually, from my understanding of the Bach Saga, it was the sound that came first, the sound the chicken makes, the Bach, alright? And so we're going to go to Genesis 1:3, which says, "And God said, let there be light, and there was light." So, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. And so, this corresponds greatly with the idea of the Bach Saga. And what the Bach Saga really is it's not just a story, it's an experience. And I urge you to look into it. In doing so, you'll gain new ears. You'll understand sound in a way that you never have before. Bach never went to school. His mother and his aunt taught him everything he knew through oral tradition, which was passed down by their family over what he claims to be millennia. And he went off into the world knowing only these things, the oral tradition he was given through his early years. And so, I won't get into the Bach Saga today, but what it is this ancient sound system, which is pretty similar to Northern European alphabets, which Eeyore claims descended from this, what he calls the root language. And it's just an ancient alphabet based upon phonetic sound. And scholars who have studied the Bach Saga really have no claims against it. It's just not widely known. It's not widely studied. And so, why do I bring up the Bach Saga here? It's because of this idea in which if you study the Bach Saga and the root language and the sounds associated with it, you can begin to derive double, triple, quadruple even meanings, just many meanings from singular words in which just the sounds, each sound has layered meaning, and it just all works. It all just meshes together. And so you can form greater meanings from a single word here, and understand why that word is that word. And so I'm referencing this because in listening to a song which, like Tangerine, personally I don't have any examples from Tangerine itself, but if I were to actually analyze it with the sound system of the Bach Saga, I could probably discover more about myself, and maybe after making this video I'll go doing just that. So that's it. Finally done here for today. I know we covered a lot in today's video in such a short time, but truly I do tell you I could do this for many more songs. And I hope you like this video here. I hope you go find your Tangerine or something like it. And please give this video a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. My last video is a video on Mystery Babylon and who she is and what it means in accordance to my beliefs. So go check that out. And the Bach Saga also is something really deserving of more attention, so please go check it out. There are many people who talk about it, but really not enough. It's very interesting. So I will be making a video on that goes fully in depth into the Bach Saga, and I will give my best analysis on it, the best I can. So, alright, please like, subscribe if you like this content, and I hope to see you again in a later video. Bye.